Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Bryan with another knife video for you. Today we have not a battle to the death. I know that's what it looks like with these three knives staged together. This is just going to be kind of a discussion about a category of knives that I really love and have fallen more in love with after spending a couple weeks over in Europe. These are three European wooden locking. That's one important feature of these particular three, locking knives, but they are very, very old school in that, like, they just don't even have bushings. These are all just, you guys are familiar with Opinels. They're all, just metal on wood. All three of these are the same that way. All three of them have collar locks, and all three have kind of a unique take on the collar lock, so their own different things. We're all familiar with the iconic Opinel. We'll just start with that. This happens to be a number 7 because size-wise, it's what matches up best with these, and it's my favorite size of the Opinel. I love the number 7. This is the carbon steel version, but it does also come in inox. These other two only come in inox, which is a stainless steel that you find like on the Swiss Army knives and stuff. It's not a particularly, if I'm understanding correctly, the research I've done into it, it's kind of a generic term, kind of like how the Chinese throw around the word D2. It's kind of the same thing as that, but all three of these, it seemed like it's pretty decent steel on them, so yeah, so we're using a carbon one because that's the one I have in this size. I do have the inox in the number 8, and Opinel's inox is pretty good too. Next up, we have, that's from France. Now we move on to Italy. You have the Antonini Old Bear. This is very cool. I picked this one up in Germany. Didn't pick up any German knives in Germany, but I did pick up an Italian one. Very nice. This has a bit of a unique take on that collar lock. This is just, the conventional one we're used to. You just twist it like that. You can close it and open it one-handed. It's not too difficult, but this makes it much easier because it has this beautiful brass collar, which is gorgeous. And then it's got this nice little thumb thing that sticks out, which makes it so much easier. I can even open it one-handed. Kinda. Yep, and close it one-handed and lock it. So that's pretty neat. I do really like that. I'm quite a big fan of the locking system on the Old Bear. Comes like the Opinel, comes in a million different colors and sizes and different woods and things like that. The Antonini is almost that much, not quite as much as Opinel does, but it does come in 4 different sizes. This is the medium. It comes in a small, medium, large, extra large, and I'm quite a fan of it. And it mostly all in this kind of color, but which I can't remember what kind of wood this is off the top of my head, but it looks beautiful, and quite a big fan of it. Opinels, you're looking 10, 15 bucks probably, and you can get them all over in America. Antoninis, you can get in America. eBay and Amazon has them all the time. You're looking probably around 20 bucks for this size, a little bit more for the bigger ones, a little bit less for the smaller ones. Very inexpensive, definitely. And the Martins also not terribly expensive. This is kind of the most expensive knife Martins makes. This is one of their Hunter editions that they just came out with, according to the knife person at the shop I bought it from just a little while ago. And it came with a beautiful little leather slip cover and stuff. So this one was 1950 euros. So it was not terribly cheap for one of these. And by the time you got over here to the US, I'm sure you're looking at 35 bucks, 30, 35 bucks. The shipping on these often costs almost as much as the knife does. But they do make a less expensive version of this exact same knife without the ornate stuff, without the leather slipcase, and I think those are like 11 euros. So, again, inox steel. And they have a collar more similar to the Opinel, but it has that little button cutout in it. So, and it just runs a bit smoother than the Opinel does, which it should. It's a more expensive knife. Even if you buy the cheaper version, it's still just a tick more than an Opinel. Opinels over there, when I saw them, they ran about 9 euros, where the cheaper version of this was 11. So 2 euros. It's not much money. Who cares? It's like, what, 3 bucks. But yeah. And this is made in Portugal. Traditional manufacturer of Martins has been around forever and ever and ever. I will be doing a separate video just on Martins and give a bit more history about them. I've done that with Opinel already, because I bought 4 different Martins knives when I was over there, 2 new ones and 2 vintage ones. So I accidentally wound up with a Portuguese knife collection, which was not my intention, but I'm glad I did. And I spent the entire collection, spoiler alert, even including this expensive 20 euro one, the entire collection still wound up costing me like 34 euros. Sorry, not even that, sorry. About 30 euros for 4 knives. They make a lot of really cool, inexpensive knives that are meant for locals and fishermen and to use and abuse and throw away. And then also they put little logos on them for tourists. It's a common thing you can find around there. But very, very cool knife. Very much like the Martins also. Big difference in these, obviously, is ergonomics, especially in the Martins. I would say that the Antonini, this is a newer design than the Opinel. The Opinel was like around turn of the century. This was since 1925, as it proudly says there. And you can tell ergonomically they made a few changes. This is, as you can see, the handle's just a little bit thinner. I do like that. And I have to say, even compared to a number 8, I don't have my number 8 in front of me, because this is kind of between the size of a number 7 and number 8. I do, just something I can't quite qualify. I like the way this fits my hand just a bit better than an Opinel. The Opinel is thicker and fatter, and it does fill my hand a little bit better, but there's just something I can't quite put a finger on, even though they're so put a finger on. I'm literally putting my fingers on it and said I can't put my finger on it. But you know what I mean. Just something about it. I just like the feel of this one just a little bit better in my hand than any of my Opinels. Not dramatically so, but a little bit. Same can be said for the blade. Same can be said for the blade on this Old Bear also. It is all 3 of these blades thin, super slicey little tools, super slicey, and food prep, things like that. Very slicey. I'd say sharpening out of the box. All 3 are also pretty equal. They both come pretty sharp out of the box, but not perfect. Every Opinel I've gotten, I've touched up as soon as I took it out of the box, and I'm probably going to wind up doing the same with these 2. But very good, very slicey. The stock on the Old Bear is just a tick thicker. I measured this at, I think, 0.07 inches. The other 2 were 0.06 at their thickest point. But this is just a bit thinner behind the blade than either the Opinel or the Martins. And it's just that little bit slicier. They're both all 3 are super slicey and great. But this one's just that little bit slicier. Just that tiny little bit. As far as how they look, Opinel doesn't do anything. I mean, they do some really cool stuff. They do it in a million different colors. You can get them, and they have different woods and all that. But I don't know. It's just, I think that the Antonini and especially the Martins look just a bit dressier and fancier. The Martins you can get with or without this. You can get in many different colors, same as Opinel. You can't get the modern stuff. That's one cool thing with Opinels is they do make a few concessions to modernism. Like my number 8 is red. It's still wood, but it's like a red color. It's cool. And Antonini is all this brass collar, various shades of this same kind of wood. But I just like the design better. I just think it looks cooler. But they're all, I think all of them are very pretty to look at. I love these old design, these are all brand new, but I mean, I like these old designs, these old Europeans, just super boiling it down, simple as can be designs. And they're all locking, which is cool. A lot of the, where's one I have here? Here's another Martins I got. This is a lot of the traditional knives like this are not, they're just friction folders, where these at least lock. So that's always nice. Yeah, I'll be doing something about that. So this is one of the little touristy knives I was talking about that Martins makes. This is meant for opening sardine cans and eating your sardines with, which I hate sardines, but I love that knife. Anywho, getting off track, Brian. Yeah, I mean, I love these knives. They all have their advantages. As far as one to look at, I choose the Martins, and I love the blade shape. I just love this extreme clip point, I guess is the best way to describe it. Like I said, this is designed for a hunting knife. Ergonomically, I kind of skipped over this one. Ergonomically, this one, it definitely fits my hand the best. Definitely. It's a shorter handle, but the way it's shaped, they just did a very good job with this. There's nothing in the nice thing about these collar locks on the Opinel and this, you have that sticking out, but this, there's nothing sticking out, so there's lots of different ways, different places to put your fingers, which that's nice. And just the way it's shaped, it hits my hands, my large size hands perfectly. So I really do like that about this knife. Ergonomically, I think this one is my favorite. And looks wise, it's probably my favorite because it's got the boars on it and stuff. I'll never go boar hunting. That's never a thing I will do. But if I did, I could be super snooty and carry this knife. So you can't get much more snooty than boar hunting with a traditional Portuguese knife. The Old Bear is probably the one that I'll wind up using the most, especially now that I've discovered you can get them here in the U.S. I wasn't sure when I bought it. I honestly bought this knife because I went into a Boker dealer intending to buy a Boker Traditional, and he was the nicest dude and spent so much time with me for me to decide that they're not any cheaper in Germany than they are over here. And I said, no, I'm not going to buy one. I almost bought like a €130 one, but it was $140 on Blade HQ, $130 on Blade HQ, €130 over there, and so it was more money. And I just said, I'm not going to get it. And I kind of felt bad for wasting literally probably half an hour of this man's time. He was having fun though, and I showed him my Kaiser zip slip, and he is buying one, so it worked out for both of us. I just wanted to buy something to say thank you for your time, and this was sitting at the counter and was like €20, which is more than they are on Amazon here, but that I didn't care, and I just bought it, and I love it. It's great. But this is the one I'll probably would up using a whole lot, because again, I can get one easily without having to overpay to replace it if I damage it or something. And I just love that little collar lock, and I'm a sucker for brass, so yeah. And Opinels, I have a ton of them. I love Opinels. I will always love Opinels. I think I have 4 or 5 now. I'm sure I'll wind up with more. I want one of the little keychain ones. But yeah, just something about this speaks to me. I just know this is one I'm going to use the most. This is one I'm going to use as kind of a classy, gentlemanly sort of thing. Especially, I do love this little slipcase though. Custom shape to it and stuff. This is amazing. For basically 20, 26, 27 US dollars, and plus whatever it costs to get it shipped over here. It's really, really pretty. All right, I think that kind of sums it up. Like I said, this wasn't meant to be like a comparison test to pick which one I like the best. I think if I was gun against my head, I probably like the Old Bear the best, but not by a lot. I love all 3 of them for different reasons. I love the Martins because I love Portugal, so I have a bit of an emotional connection to that. And Opinels, I've had them forever. My grandfather carried a number 7 just exactly like this, so I have an emotional attachment there. The Old Bear I have no emotional attachment to, but I just, as far as a user, I like the design a lot. I just like the one-handed open and close. And another neat thing too about this Old Bear, so I do have to say this, he had a whole bunch of the large ones. This was the only medium he had in stock. I didn't want the large or the extra large, and I grabbed this one, and I knew the action was a bit loose on it, but I took it anyway. And then, nice thing about these wood things, all I did was went plunk in a glass of water and let it sit for about an hour. And now the action feels almost the same as the Opinel. It was almost kind of, you could shake it and almost shake it completely open. And just plunk in a glass of water and it works. Wood is just so easy to work with. It's like, I don't use lube on any of these. I will say that now that I have a lot of these, and I'm going to portray myself as an expert on these, which I'm not, but I almost never lube these. If I do, I just use mineral oil or something like that, because I do use, these knives are so awesome for food prep that you don't want to be putting non-edible oils into the wood, because it'll soak in and it'll be slowly coming out over time. I just put a couple drops of mineral oil on there if I ever do have to lube them up. This one I'm sure I have, because I've had this one for so long and used it a whole lot. I'm sure I've done that to this one. But I think that's about all I have to say about these. I know this was kind of rambly, but it was almost sort of intended to be. I just kind of wanted to give you an overview, and you don't see many things on YouTube about Martins at all. Very little about the Antonini. See a whole lot of Opinel stuff, but just wanted to give that to you. I will link down below. I do have a video about Opinel and a bit of their history and stuff, and I left Portugal with 4 Martins knives, some cheap ones, some more there was some new ones, some old ones, this is the most expensive one, and then the other 3 were really super cheap, which is kind of more what they're known for. I will do a little video like that, like I did with the Opinel, just talking about Martins, and it's not going to be a full review or anything, but just a little talk about them. I did get one knife in Portugal that I will do a full review on. I got a very nice e-cell, however you choose to say it. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Bryan. Have a good one. Go shop around for some foreign knives. Expand your horizons. I'll put some links down below. Have a good one.